Previously known as a scientist, Jean-Michel Karam now dedicates himself in the cosmetics industry. Indonesia Now's Desi Anwar met him and asked about his expanding business.
Hi, Jean-Michel. Welcome to Indonesia, to Jakarta.
Thank you
It's
for
not your first time I hear. This is like your third time?
Third time.
Well, you're bringing some very exciting brand with you.
Yes, we're launching IOMA, in fact, in Indonesia. IOMA is a very unique brand, very different brand.
It's cosmetics, right?
Yes, in skincare. And the difference is because we're mixing science and technology to the benefit of the skin. For me, IOMA has to have a major mission in enhancing human life. Otherwise, I don't get interested.
Okay.
And this is why, the mission is very big, and what we want is outsmart Mother Nature and stop the physical expression of aging. We're not a medical company. We cannot reverse aging. But what we can do is try to have people getting old but look young.
But why did you pick Unilever? I mean, I know it's big in
Indonesia. Is very big,
well, in Indonesia it's big, but it's, it's...
Why Unilever? Actually, initially it was a relationship. I had friends, in the executives of Unilever. I have plenty of friends. So they really, and Unilever was very interested in getting into premium and luxury brands and skincare. And the approach of IOMA was completely different and so game changer that for Unilever it was evident. And for me, initially, I was not that excited. I was like, no, why? 2 years we're not in a hurry to sell. And in fact, we find a deal which makes sense because the way Dave Lewis, the president of personal care of Unilever, convinced me is he asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do the biggest premium skincare brand in the world. And he said, with me you can go faster. And it was true. Because today Unilever, of course, support us financially, which is a business that requires a lot of capabilities. Support us with R&D. We have very strong R&D in IOMA on technology. We have very strong R&D on formulation in France, etc. But the R&D and ingredients requires a lot of capabilities. If you take Unilever and Colors, we have in the UK, we have like 800 people under the leadership of a guy called John Casey, who's really very smart. Who are working on developing ingredients by observing trees. We human, if the conditions are bad, we move. Animals, same, we move, we just change location.
But trees can't really move.
So they had to adapt themselves. And there is 800 scientists inside of Unilever looking at how these plants and trees survive this environment and trying to mimic these phenomena and processes into ingredients that we can use in our product. So these kind of things make that we really can deliver on a mission like the one I set, outsmart.
Okay, you said that you're a scientist.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a PhD in MEMS. In fact, I have...
So what happened?
What happened for me to go back to beauty?
Yeah, so what made you decide to,
why?
Yeah, instead of maybe, doing sort of more other scientific things, what made you decide to go to making women beautiful and ageless?
Well, initially I'm a scientist. I started my career, I did my PhD in MEMS, and MEMS stands for micro electromechanical systems. They're very tiny chips that can sense phenomena in the environment. We're surrounded, in fact, by MEMS today. In your cell phone, when you rotate, the MEMS say that you rotate. This is why we rotate the image, the airbag of the car, and the plane, etc. And so I started my career in R&D as a scientist to become director of research, and then quit to launch my first company, MEMSCAP. Okay, so in 2001, the telecom business collapsed, and I had to diversify the business very rapidly. In fact, at that time, I had like 500 competitors. All of them were dead just because of optical communication collapse of the business. And the reason why we survived at that time was that I convinced my board at that time that the crisis is going to last. And I went out and acquired other companies. In fact, I acquired 6 companies that put me in the avionics business and the medical business. Today, every time you take a plane, my other company, MEMSCAP, we equip 80% of the plane. We give the altitude, the airspeed, the cabin pressure, etc. We are also involved in biomedical application. I don't know if you heard, like a month ago in Paris, we implemented the first artificial heart in a human.
Wow, and that's part of your company? Or
the heart is not made by my company. The heart was made by a company called Karmat. But we regulate the pressure of the heart. So we're involved in all these kind of application. And in 2000, at that time, we were desperate, to be very honest. We were looking for any kind of diversification. It was a financial crisis. A very big one. So we went out and we were thinking what we can do to diversify the business other than acquisition. And we came up with the idea, which maybe initially was not that smart, but ended up to be very smart, is to make a device and measure the skin characteristics. The idea came, I went to a derm, in fact, and it was so prehistoric the way he treated me. And I said, these guys like really technology. So we went out and we did this device that can measure all the skin characteristics.
Jean-Michel, merci beaucoup.
C'est moi.
C'est un grand plaisir de vous rencontrer.
Despite his successful career, Jean-Michel also manages a charity foundation named Layla, named after his late mother.